there's no that consistent engagement, we might never be able to address the problems. If you go to chapter 5 of SRC Constitution, it alludes that upon appointment into office, the SRC is supposed to co-opt committee members that are supposed to run these various portfolios that we have. We have sport, entertainment. Those committee members have not been co-opted in the previous SRCs. Hence the reason why Chancellor Professor Mafumo, when they talked to him about the problem of Wi-Fi, he actually laughed and said, my office also has a Wi-Fi problem. When he says that, what do? We don't just lobby, we find solutions. If you stay on campus, you find that Econet lines are a problem in network. So what do? We invite Econet, they put a booster, that is business, that is money to them. What do we get in return? Because this is our premise. We might get money that we can channel towards what we call a student's education reserve fund that will assist students that are struggling to pay fees. Or we might get liquid Wi-Fi that we might put in strategic positions, not only on 3 locations that we have. That is solving problems. Thank you very much.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. My name is an independent candidate running under the... Okay. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Lawrence, an independent candidate running under the mantra Students First. Our manifesto as Students First was shortened down to 5 points, which I will simplify you saying the first point is that we are advocating for a permanent seat for people living with disabilities in the SRC. Then the second point that we are advocating for is that before we say that we need more hostels, we are saying that the already built ones they need renovation. The third point that we are advocating for is a transport system that is managed by the administration. This transport system will provide reliable and cheap transport. And the next point is that we are advocating for cuts and grants. We shall engage the government so that it will create sort of a bank for tertiary students, like what they did on the new regime that is in government. They introduced a bank for the youth and the women. So we're also saying that we're going to engage the government so that it will create a bank for tertiary students, so that it will help those students that are financial crisis that are in need of the money. So the mantra Students First, we are saying that.
Ladies and gentlemen, the ground rules are for people to be silent when candidates are speaking. Please can you respect your candidates? You being here means you are abiding by the rules. Please follow the rules and let's respect our candidates so that we get on with the program.
Okay. So basically our manifesto was created as a result of engagement with you, the students, hearing the needs and demands, the problems that are affecting us as students or on campus. There's in our manifesto, 5-point manifesto, we didn't mention the issues of the food in our jugs, the issues of Wi-Fi. It's a common problem, but we're not saying that we ignored these problems, but we're saying that we just narrowed down our manifesto to the 5 points that I just listed. With that, thank you.
The presentations of manifestos from our candidates. Our next stage is we are going to ask our panelists to ask questions to the candidates from their manifestos, and then we'll give the platform to the public to ask their questions.
Let's make sure we're quiet so that we hear both the question and the response.
Okay, so I've just been informed that the questions were sent by the public to the panelists and the candidates. They have 2 minutes for each question to answer each question. We have time and we have to be on time. Your time comes and goes, and then that's it.
Good afternoon, everyone. First question is, what is your definition of leadership and what makes you the best candidate? What is your definition of leadership and what makes you the best candidate?
In simple terms, leadership is being there in present. Just being on the front and receiving information from the people and acting as a group, you being in front to take the need of the people or to take the achievement of the people to the real achievement they want. So leadership is just being there to receive it from them and to push for them. I'm the best candidate because we have ideas from the people which comes through consultative meetings, and I'm going to be on front leading for us to achieve what the students want. So I am for the students and by the students, and what we are advocating for are from the students, and we are going to make sure that the idea of the students is taken forward so that we achieve the need of the students. It's all about the needs of the students and working together to address our needs and working together to achieve the common goal. It's for us all. What I salute is the servant leadership, where you work with the people and you work for the people and you make sure that as a people we achieve the common goal. Thank you very much.
Before you start, the preceding candidate has 30 seconds to respond to anything the first candidate has said. Just 30 seconds. Then you can answer the question you're going to be asked.
Okay, so it is to my belief you managed to answer what leadership is all about, but I believe in as much as people are concerned and you're driven, worse of passion driven by the desire to fulfill people, leadership becomes something that is really of paramount importance. Why? Because you need to serve the interests of the people first before you have to address yours. And I'm pretty sure this has been a problem considering the kind of leadership we have been having so far. That is why I'm saying, and I'm responding again to the second part of this, a response to the note that why could one be somebody who is different apart from all the leaders? In as much as we all want to address issues.
Please listen carefully. This is not his question. He's actually responding to a response.
And he only has 30 seconds to respond to that response. After 30 seconds, time is up, therefore we cut it so that he can then respond to his own question.
The next question is, granted that all candidates have duty to sacrifice in their campaigns, what makes your individual sacrifice as a candidate bigger than the other candidates, and what is that of benefit to the electorate? Granted that all candidates have alluded to sacrifice during their campaigns, what makes your individual sacrifice bigger than the rest of the candidates, and a benefit to the rest of the electorate?
It is to my straight belief that I'm coming from the same shoes the students are coming. So what the students are facing is what I'm also facing.
Hence, it is more to my problem and to my worry more than even the students, because we are together. Worse off, we are driven. If only my wish could be the fact that if the administration could understand it more than students. And worse off, sometimes, one point if necessary, by all chance, they extend and they exist in the environments where students exist, then by that they would understand what we are actually facing as students. So we are passion-driven and we are ignited. We are fostered into a culture of persistence by virtue of us addressing students' issues, because we are the very same students. We don't want to represent students here, not because we're not students, but we are also students. So we are coming from the same bowels of distress and discontentment, being bombarded by the very negative issues. We are looking forward to be positive, and thus we really look forward to be optimistic enough in making sure such issues are reached. With all this, I'm grateful.
The question that my colleague was asked was, given that all candidates have given a sacrifice, how big is your sacrifice and how is it beneficial to the electorate? It is, however, unfortunate that in his 2 minutes gist, he never answered any of the questions, which might conclude that he never sacrificed anything. Which might actually conclude that he never sacrificed anything. Thank you very much.
The next question is, what circumstances or lived experiences have you gone through that have made you understand and want to represent students' lives and problems?
Thank you very much for the question. Personally, having been raised by a single mother, there are a lot of things that I've grown up. My mother was a vendor. As a result, we've come to learn a lot of things that students have been, people actually are suffering. Because of that suffering, it has aggravated my desire and passion to lead students. Some of the experiences that I've encountered is as a result of the demonstration that we had when we had the CH fees increment, which was last year on the 27th of June. The day is so dear to me because there were circumstances that came after that demonstration. I was abducted and went missing for 6 days. After that, I spent 46 days in hospital. It's something that is documented, and it is through that pain that I've been through that I've always consistent and continue to stand for the students and continue to stand for the people so that the rights of people are realized. Thank you very much.
Before we proceed, we want to thank our media. We are live. The Open Pally is streaming live on their page. It's Open Pally.ZW. If you want to see live the events that are taking place. Okay, so
my response to the answer given by my previous colleague is that as he has indicated that he was raised by a single mother, it seems like it's a common thing to most of us, as I also was raised by a single mother.
Sorry, he has 30 seconds, don't eat into them.
Afternoon. So my question piece here is on issues of gender. There is a perceived alienation of the girl child in terms of campus politics and other aspects of campus life. How would your leadership make sure that the girl child is represented in terms of campus life? Should I give it?
No, it's okay. Okay, the issue of gender is a sensitive issue. So under my administration, we shall make sure that girls are motivated. Are motivated, that is, that they engage in politics. As you can see that on the presidential candidate. Okay. On the presidential election, there is no female candidate. The issue now is that female feel that they are intimidated in this political arena. So, under my administration, what we're going to do is that we shall engage with the female students and encourage them and enlighten them that this political arena is favorable to girls and boys. With that, I thank you.
Firstly, you will respond to what our last candidate said, then your question will come after Mr. Gatsiba, who goes number 4, etc.
I'm so much happy one of the panelists actually questioned on the issue to do with gender. I have every reason to believe we're all coming from the bowels of patriarchal societies where male dominance is key. But however, we are about to stage a difference on campus in as much as accommodating the girl child is concerned. Why am I saying this? One of my Secretary Generals, Vanessa T. Amidu, is making a difference. And even before she is campaigning for the Secretary General, she had made waves already. She has made waves that are so much important in national arenas, not only on campus. So we believe in the tolerance, acceptance, and participating of the girl child. West of one of my powerful unions, the Zikosu Union, is promoting the Zikosu pins, and those are standing to stage a difference in appreciating the girl child.
Wish to change student activism from politics of the stomach to real cognate activism that develop students' lives?
Okay, we are driven by students' issues and by any way not affiliated to any political utterances. We believe in the aspects. Back to my response, we are driven by students' issues on campus, and what we face have nothing to do with external politics. Hence, it is key that if we are then to be represented by students, why not address the very same issues on campus that students are facing? The key thing is let us deal with our home first, work towards this greatness, and we achieve what we want, because as students, we have what it takes to change the platform. We have what it takes to change the campus. I believe when you came here, you had that ideal type of university. That kind of reputation that UZ has in your perception should not only be in theory, but as well in practical. So it is us who puts that practicality, because we are driven by the students' manifesto, we are driven by the students' agenda to fulfill what we rightly deserve. Hence, it is key that students' engagement becomes powerful in addressing such issues.
My colleague alluded to the fact that his union, Zikosu, is not connected to any political party. I suppose the name at the back of that T-shirt written ED is because of his headmaster. Chairman, I was actually going to quote you. I was actually going to quote you, Chairman. It is probably it is as a result that, according to Chairman Mark Chipagatira, is the headmaster of the university. Anyway, you also.
He's waiting for his question.
The question is, are women and people living with disability represented in the winning team?
Thank you very much for the question. For the people living with disability, there is one in our campaign team who's partially blind, who actually happens to be me. Then in terms of the campaign team, the general campaign team, we have a number of people that are also, we have women, also have other people also that are living with disability. But in the people that are running for office in our team, the question was neither clear whether I'm only talking about people who are running for office. In the people that are running for office, we don't have a female. And this is one of the things that we still continue to propagate, that there is engagement so that we have also women. What we will do to address this is that once we are in office, as I've said, we have the idea where we're supposed to co-opt according to Section 5. We'll make sure that we co-opt more women and also propagate that when we amend the Constitution, we have a reserved seat in the SEC for a person living with disability. Thank you.
Thank you very much. In response to my colleague, I want to make it very clear that a leader must tell the people the truth before he or she is elected in the office. If you lie to the people before you are elected, my co-presenter, he was lying to the people. His team consists of all men. There's no women. There's no anyone. That a leader must tell the people the truth, and my colleague failed to tell the electorate the truth. Thank you very much.
Right, so the next question is, can you explain to us how you intend to deal with the problem of the visible minority?
Thank you very much for the question. As a party, we value everyone. Every person must be respected and must have access to all the facility and all the needs as everyone. So in our manifesto, we have a proper document that is going to address the issue of disability. We know that we have others who have impaired vision, and those we are going to advocate and we're going to press the administration to make sure that our laws guaranteed them proper facilities that are going to make sure everyone has access to education and the quality education. We assure all the people who have impaired vision that we are going to make sure that we have access to proper education as every student. We are going to make sure that is put into place. Thank you very much.
Okay, responding to the previous colleague, I think the question that was asked to him, if I were him, I would answer it in this way. he was indicating that his manifesto and his administration will see that this minority group will receive good education, right? But the question is, how are you going to attain that good education? You should have indicated that if it means that the institution is going to buy new devices that will accommodate.
The question is, in your implementation of all your policies, how do you plan on bypassing the figures usage, red tape, and bureaucracy policy implementation?
Okay. We know that there's what they call the red tape, as the question is indicated. What we are going to do is that we're going to sit with the administration. We believe that it's a listening administration if you go through the proper channels. So we'll sit down with them and enlighten them and make them see the shortfalls of certain rules and regulations at this institution. So we believe that we shall engage with the institution, with the administration, and amend certain rules and regulations that will make us implement our policies in our manifesto. With that, I thank you.
We're now going into the third round, and in the third round, all candidates are going to be asked the same questions. And in this round, you are not responding, so you do not have that 30-second minute to respond, and you only have a minute to respond to the questions. So you're being asked the same questions, you have a minute to respond, and you don't have the 30 seconds to respond to the preceding speaker. So please maybe have the first speaker, the person who picked number 2 at first, with a different box. Number 2.
Rumba.
Good afternoon, everyone. There's been a suggestion. Since everyone is going to answer the same question, do the audience think it is fair for the rest of the candidates to hear that same question, or do they expect the candidates to move out and then you ask these people individually? And then we hear so, okay, sorry. Since this is a very intellectual thing, if you are in agreement with this arrangement, please raise your hand. If you are not in agreement with this,
all right, the suggestion is because they are answering one question, it will, do you suggest that they go out? So, and they have to respond one by one. Show by lifting up your head if you buy into that. All right, those who feel that there is no harm, they can all be here while
Yes, of course. Thank you very much. The financial allowance that people in the SEC get is $100 a month, and in some instances there's reservation for res. I'm already on a full scholarship, which means I don't benefit anything from the res. And the $100 is something that I can go without, something that we can even channel towards assisting other students, as I alluded on to the idea of a student's education reserve fund. So yes, I can be willing to go without the $100.
Which candidate would it be, and what would be those two things? Again, if you were to pick two characteristics, qualities, or any two things from a particular candidate in this election, what two things would those be, and which candidate would it be?
Thank you very much for the question. I would pick my classmate Nathan Dumba. The characteristics that I would pick from the manifesto is that one, the manifesto is reactionary. It's not proactive. It's rhetoric that we have always been having, but there is line to what already students' activism has been. But however, there is need to also re-engage proactiveness, which lacks in the manifesto. Two characteristics. Thank you very much for the question. My history of student electivism didn't start from elections like the previous president. One of the things that I think I'm different from the previous president is one, the passion and the love to lead. Also, the desire to interact with students. I think if you've engaged with the previous president, you'd understand that he really never engaged with the students. The capacity to interact with students from different platforms and different levels, no matter their beliefs or no matter who they are. And I think that makes me a better candidate, as I'm able to get different ideas which we can integrate to develop our institution and solve the problems the students are facing. Thank you.
Can we have now Costa coming?
Thank you very much for the question. In our manifesto, we are very clear that in the office of the president, as the president in my administration, I'm not going to take anything from the presidential allowance, but we are going to channel that money towards our student fund. We are going to channel that money towards the projects of the students. This thing is for the students. It belongs to the students. It must address the students only. We are advocating for the students because I came on this platform just because of pain. We suffered the pain because people who were in office, they were sleeping on duty, and whilst they are enjoying the students' money, we are going to donate that money to the student projects. It's for the students, by the students, and from the students. Nothing more. Thank you very much.
From any one of the candidates and also from their manifesto, which one would it be? And why?
I think nothing, none of them. I am specifically I am different because I was motivated because of the problems of the students. I'm coming from the medical school. We understand the pressure, we understand the problems that we face. None of the manifesto is addressing our problems. Only our manifesto, the 5-star manifesto, stands to address students' problems at the whole campus. So we seek to stand with our manifesto. These guys are just talking of Wi-Fi and accommodation, which was used by all the campaigning, the preceding campaigning people. We want a manifesto that addresses the problems of the students. We want a distinct manifesto. We want a student-motivated manifesto. We want an agenda that comes from the students. And ours is the only manifesto which is the voice of the students.
Amen.
Order.
The last question is, how are you accepting the last question?
I'm different. You can look from our manifesto and from where I'm coming from. I suffered together with the students in the medical school. And as many of you know, that medical students do not participate in the election. But I'm coming to participate just because I suffered the pain, and I know. So for this reason, I'm very different. Just because of that, I was motivated by the problems, and I suffered together with the students. And I stand here to represent the students for the new future, to represent the students for an agenda that is going to take the students ahead, that is going to take the people of Zimbabwe in general a step ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Given your stance on financial aid and support to students, would you be willing to go through the entire term of office without any remuneration or salary?
Coming from the bowels of a youth-supporting oriented organization that fosters charity and alms giving, I wouldn't take the idea. Worse off, considering the fact that I'm more of a self-sustaining student in terms of accommodation. I fund for myself in terms of my accommodation. Then I'm considerate enough to all those people who are not good enough in terms of providing for their aid in terms of transport, accommodation, even and food.
If you were to pick two characteristics or qualities, or any two things from one of the candidates' manifesto, which candidate would that be and why?
Lawrence Sakainis. I believe he's a young juvenile like me, and there's a lot to learn from his side, in as much as experience is concerned. However, it is key that as we work towards achieving what we deserve together, it is important that as we get to engage ourselves, we learn a lot from each other. And I'm pretty sure from my own experience, he has a lot to learn. And from him as well, we have got a lot to learn from each other. Above all, his humility is actually a mileage to my side, and I'm very much humbled by his time. Okay, I'm totally different from the last president. Why? Because I'm driven with passion to fulfill students' needs and expectations. With all due respect, to respect and put students first, addressing their needs and expectations on campus. This is not a situation where we have to employ mere dealers in a diplomatic market who butter the trades of millions with a scented smile. Not exactly, but with all due respect and honor, I have every reason to respect what he has done, but I also feel like he managed to work less in terms of achieving and fulfilling his objectives. In other words, that was not so far to my good, and I have to look forward to expect a lot from his delivery, but it's very unfortunate he couldn't. So there's room for improvement, there's room for engagement, and there's room to learn a lot from his mistakes and improve and make University of Zimbabwe a better place.
Please, we just have got one more candidate. Let's give him the chance.
Given your stance on financial aid and support to the students, would you be willing to go through your term without the salary?
What pushed me or what motivated me to contest in this presidential election are not so-called benefits of becoming the president. I'm saying that what pushed me to contest in this presidential election are not the so-called benefits of becoming the president. I am contesting because I want to give my service to the students. I want to represent, I want to advocate for the needs and wants of you, the students. I want to make students first. I want your needs to be addressed by the administration. Thank you. In other candidates' manifesto that I pick is the issue of engagement by my fellow colleague Vanova Seke. Why am I picking that first point is also, I also believe that through engagement we shall address the issues and crises that our students are facing at this institution. Already I've created WhatsApp groups, Facebook pages, interacting with you, the students, hearing your needs and wants. And also another characteristic that I would appreciate by another candidate is the issue of points of people that are partially blind to the disability vision. Why am I picking this point also is that in my manifesto I've indicated that we are advocating for a permanent seat in the SRC for people living with disabilities.
Thank you. And the last question is, how are you different from the last president? How are you different from the last president?
Okay, what makes me unique is that I'm an independent candidate. During my term of office, I will not be driven or I will not face the challenge of trying to save two masters at once. You see that there's an issue that when a candidate comes from a certain union, there are demands and instructions that are coming from a union that might be different from the demands from the students. So as an independent candidate, I'm saying that my only master is you, the students, hence the mantra, students first.
when the speakers are answering, when the candidates are answering the questions, each candidate is allowed to interject. And the candidate only has 3 interjections. So you have a maximum of 3 interjections. And it's a minute. It's close to a minute. The interjection is 15 seconds and your response to it is about a minute. So you've got 2 minutes to answer this. So we're going to choose who's going to speak. Please do this in an orderly manner. Do not make noise. Gentlemen in the middle of the day, please could you keep quiet. You serve the haircut. Please could you keep quiet. Let's do this in an orderly manner, please. Offset, you have a question? Yes, stand up. That's what's your question, stand up.
Mr. Gaziwa, do you distance because from the brutal dictatorial ZANU-PF party? And if so, are you sure?
If you do not keep order during these questions, you will have to stop. So if you want the question and answer segment between the candidates and the audience to continue, you guys have to be quiet. Mr. Gazi.
Okay, I believe young people have a lot to learn from the executive and the top leadership. So, by virtue of your question, I have every reason to respond telling you that we have a lot to learn, and what we borrow is the ideology of ZANU-PF.
Ladies and gentlemen, like I said, you need to keep order. If you are unable to keep order, we will simply stop the question and answer segment.
One question.
One question. Who else has a question? The lady next to you. And who's your question? A different. Any. Which one? Makosa. It's your question.
So we have had the non-residents mantra for so long. What makes your mantra special? Like you've acknowledged that non-resident students comprise of the greater number of students, right? What is it that you're going to do that we have not been offered before? What is it that you're telling us that we have not been told before? And convince me if you are the right person to represent me as a non-resident.
Thank you very much. Number one, we are going to form a platform which involves the SRC, the non-race students, both those who are renting on the nearby household and those who are driving or commuting from home. We are going to form a platform that is going to allow us to come together and solve our problems. But as I have alluded to during the first presentation, that we are going to introduce the faculty-based tuck shops, food outlets. These structures are for the non-race students mainly because during the lunchtime they have no access to food. You guys, you can agree with me that food provided by DAX is just for the students who are on accommodation, and fuel is given to non-race students. We are going to make sure that these students, their problems are addressed by introducing the faculty-based tuck shops, food outlets, and also to make sure that we have mutual relationship between the students.
Who else has a question? The gentleman at the back. Who's your question for?
This question is directed to Mr. Kaseke.
Mr. Kaseke, it's your question, please, right?
Mr. Kaseke, if you are really here to serve for the students' interest, why then did you choose to form ZINASU Alliance after you were not allowed to run for president in the ZINASU Union?
Thank you very much for the question. I would like to first allude with your last statement.
You be quiet. Gentlemen with the hair. Again, you're making noise. Please, could you keep order? You in the seat. You looking at the back. No, you may answer.
Thank you very much. I'll allude with your last statement. You said not allowed. Then the question would be, by who? Now, we're supposed to hold the primary election to elect a presidential candidate, and in a meeting that was held, which involved people that were not students here at the University of Zimbabwe, according to the constitution of ZINASU, it is the chapter committee that is supposed to initiate an election. Unfortunately, the chapter president was Nathan Lumba, who also wanted to initiate a candidate selection, which he also wanted to be a candidate. So the reason why I chose to run under the NASA Alliance is because what happened was not defensive to the interest of the students, because they imposed a candidate, I would say a weak candidate in which whom they wanted to control, but not a candidate who was to represent the interest of the students. Who doesn't that has been shown by his absence here. You cannot speak for students.
Please, may you maintain order. Do not shout out things like that, gentlemen. Please, maintain order. Who else has a question from this side? The man with the white hat. Who's your question for?
My question is for Mr. Fano Kasike.
We just answered the question.
Okay, so I'll wait till it is turn.
Who else has a question? Yes, the lady in the orange top. My question is related to which one? This one. Does anyone have a question for Mr. Fernandez? Yes.
Mr. President saying is looking for his deal with the idea is create a big for students who are going to share that task, right? My question is simple. In your point, you affirmation that the government has already created its bank. So I would like to differentiate it from the youth. That doesn't really go well with me. But I would say it's us doing studies here are different from these. So we want the banks to run parallel.
Okay, answering to that, I'll give you an example of the banks that I used earlier on. Yeah, I mentioned the bank for the youth, and I mentioned the bank for the women that was created by the government. You realize that there's a certain individual elected that can fall under the bank of the women and also fall under the bank of the youth. But still, these two banks were established. So yes, it's very possible to have another bank for tertiary students, as well as the bank for the youth. Thank you.
We're going to take two more questions from the audience, then we are done. Tanya, the lady with the hair. Yes.
My concern is for the female students at this university. Well, your party seems to be a male-dominated party. I think you said that we have inclusion of female students once you are elected. But how can we trust that you will include females in your party after you are elected?
Thank you very much for your question. You will also come to learn that in the SRC elections, there are 25 candidates and 8 are needed to enter into SEC, which means my party has fielded 5 males. We have left 3. Our promulgation and belief is that the 3 female candidates that are contesting will win, and will also incorporate them in the SRC. Thank you very much. I refer you to our first-term manifesto. Our first-term manifesto is a product of consultative meetings from all the students from different faculties. We are going to address these problems from all the faculties. But when I alluded to the CHS, I said, and I was very clear, that I, as a medical student, I suffered in the CHS corridors.
But that does not mean our manifesto is going to focus on the CHS. We are going to focus on the whole university as we seek to address all the problems. We know that every student is a problem. There was no SRC in the previous years. There was no SRC. Whoever was in the office was sleeping on duty, and no one was there. We are going to follow the rules and true revolution which is there for the students. And trust me, we are going to represent it well. Thank you very much.
I'm very much grateful that mvunzo wenyu wambovunzwa ndakakwanisa nekwandakwanisapo kuti ndiupindure. But however, like I'm saying, we are driven with the passion to fulfill students' activism and fulfill the expectations of students on campus. What we have is a position that is pushing us to address students' issues on campus. We are not driving personal agendas, but we are driving an intrinsic move of making sure the very same students achieve what we rightly say to the students as a whole.
Thank you. Mr. Gadziko said, your party has been in power for the past 2 years, and your party has failed as a student. And the question when is that your mother party had failed us as a nation. How are you going to take us to the destiny as you are the sons?
First and foremost, I actually thought there is a lot for me to learn from your manifesto. But basing on the statements that you actually bring out, you're now actually making me believe you're a political zygote maturing in the womb of the spirit.
Zangotanelizira kubi.
Can we maintain order? If we do not maintain order, we will simply stop the process right now. Could we please maintain order? Please, could you be silent? This section, please, could you guys be silent?
Okay, so like I was saying, I actually believe this. But I'm not being done with this
finish responding to the last interjections, and then we will see whether we allow Mr. Fano to continue. Please, Mr. Katsiko, can you finish it?
Okay, taking it further, I have every reason to believe you're not so sure of what SRC is all about because you're involving national politics into students after this. This has nothing to do with national politics, and hence let us be driven and be guided accordingly in addressing students' issues. Thanks.
Okay, hey, please be guided accordingly. If we view that your interjections as a crowd and when you're doing this exercise today, we will stop this today. So please, and this, we just want to know what these guys are all about. So let them speak. We talk to each other every day. We don't talk to these people every day. Let them speak. Mr. Fano Kasege, please give us a message.
Thank you very much. I've been following throughout. I think Mr. Katsiko has always been playing hide and seek with questions.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Let him proceed.
Don't give us a prescribed motto or mission on your manifesto. How do you separate yourself from Tigray, who was the former president? He was the person that was asked. How different are you as a person?
I think I mentioned on the issue to do with being passion driven. Unless or otherwise you want me to speak what you think I should speak. I respond. So what you have to get my response.
Thank you. All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, each candidate has 30 seconds to round up everything, then we will be done. We're going to start with Mr. Takayensi.
My conclusion is as follows. I believe most of us here are under certain unions, but my advice to you that a decision on election day, let not it be political, but let it be analytical.
Fellow students, let us be guided accordingly. Eloquent speaking must never replace facts. You must vote for a candidate with a factual platform. You must vote for a candidate that is going to change, that is a clear manifesto, not eloquent speaking. Tomorrow is the people's victory, is the students' victory. Thank you.
Politics of the valley has been very prevalent here in the University of Zimbabwe. Tomorrow, as we make a decision for the next student leadership, let us not be like our grandmothers who were bought with a cup of fertilizer. And as intellectuals, prove that we're intellectuals and vote for people with the capacity to lead and transform and solve the issues that students are facing. Thank you very much.
In our ceaseless search in addressing students' issues and expectations, may we be masters and instincts of the modern world, driven with the inspiration to drive this agenda of fulfilling students' needs and expectations. I believe every student has the power which I think is prowess, the prowess which I think is bigger, the bigger that even soldiers had to through the tree you get a small boy to roll up in his mouth a nigger. Maybe that's why my surname starts with a guy.
Essa é a